turn the pages. I'm looking for accuracy, and I'm going for page number 3. Members would care to just, those that are electronically connected. Page 4, 5, 6, there's 7, 8, and 9. Is that agreed that that is a true record, members? Agreed, thank you. Moving on to announcements. I have a few announcements, and if any members have an announcement, I'll then pass to you. Firstly, we're very pleased that the Feltham station rail bridge, the glass panel that had been broken for 2 years, finally, in late August, was mended. It was a terrific effort from our highways department, Network Rail, and of course our client side, who had to work extremely hard to get all the paperwork right and to order the right thing. But it worked, it's happened. We're also pleased on our side of the town that Grosvenor Park perimeter track for mums with buggies, joggers, social walkers, has now been installed. It was something we wanted for 2 years after the kids' play area. So that's a nice little thing for people down in Lower Feltham there. Some of you may know today is National Alzheimer's Day, and the London Borough of Hounslow has recently been recognised for its achievements in supporting people who are living with dementia. I know a lot of people have experience of this. My own mum, sadly, passed away due to that early onset dementia, which she got at 56, which, believe me, you never want to see what they look like at 67. But the borough has been awarded dementia-friendly community status by the Alzheimer's Society, which is really great. Now, some of the initiatives that are being pioneered in Hounslow include regular memory cafes for people living with dementia and their carers to enjoy group activities and speak to people on a similar journey. The Alzheimer's Society has cafes in 3 locations, as well as visiting angels, working with Age UK to provide extra offerings in Feltham. So these services are vital, and we need to know that dementia is the #1 killer in the UK, and 1 in every 3 of us, and people born today, will develop this disease at some time in their life. So for World Alzheimer's Day, we'd like to encourage people worried about their memory to consult their GP, or indeed further information can be found www.alzheimers.org.uk. So isn't that nice? Okay. On Saturday the 30th of September, so that's not this Saturday, the week after, there's a Macmillan coffee morning. These are very successful. Carol's here somewhere from the Bedfont Lane Community Hall. There she is. Please go along if you can and support her. Cakes, coffee, raising money for another really important thing that are very successful. We have them in schools, we have them in lots of different places, workplaces, and they tend to be one of the best ones. So please do that. This coming Tuesday, the 26th of September, between 2 and 5 p.m. here in this hall, we have the launch of our local community hub, the official launch, where you can get advice, information and support on housing, benefits, council services, community services. We've already launched the family hub, which includes parenting advice, infant feeding, early language over at Alf King's, which has started really well. So this is locality work. This is part of the reason why the buildings review was delayed, so we could spend the Department for Education money on kicking these things off. But it doesn't mean that we're not dealing with the buildings review. It means we've got more things that can go in our buildings, and our local people can come here and find the information that they need. So I think that's good. I believe that's all the announcements I have. Do any members have any announcements they would like to bring to my attention? No? A shaking of the heads there. Okay. So we're moving on to the open forum, as if by magic we're there already. Isn't that incredible? Okay, so we have 30 minutes for this. I don't believe, I know we've got one from the Reach Academy, from the Hounslow Youth Zone. So I'm going to actually take that question first, if I may, because I believe you need to. You don't want to be out after dark, do you, Kyle? You've got to be safe when you're on your way back. These wonderful young people. So Councillor Bath, who's the lead member for education, children and young people, I believe will actually respond to this point when we've heard it. Thank you very much, Lily. Who's actually speaking? It's Sarah. Sarah, please stand. Do we have a microphone for Sarah? Thank you.
Councillor Lily Bath, do you agree a high-quality youth zone would have a positive impact on young people in Feltham and reduce antisocial behaviour? Councillor Lily Bath, do you agree a high-quality youth zone would have a positive impact on young people in Feltham and reduce antisocial behaviour?
Could you... Is that okay, Lily? Thanks.
Thank you. First, can I just say thank you very much for coming. It's lovely to have young people at the forum here, and I hope you can come again. I was invited, I think, probably not by yourselves, but by your predecessors to visit a youth zone in Croydon about a year ago. And I did go along, and I did go along and see what happens and what takes place, and it was really impressive. It had some excellent facilities for young people, and it was obviously really valued within the community. In terms of whether it would help young people here in Feltham, I mean, my responsibility as a cabinet member is for young people across the whole of the borough. One of the things that we're quite keen on as a council, and this is what we are hoping to do in the next foreseeable future, is to carry out a review of all the provision that is available for young people, whether it's a youth centre, whether it's a leisure centre, whether they are parks, and see what is the need, what do we actually have in the whole of the borough, including Feltham, and what do we actually need, and what are young people actually saying that they need. And I think that will be a really good starting, but I know that you've consulted with a lot of young people in Hounslow. I was just reading in Feltham, I was just reading some of the comments that you have made. But it's really important to hear from lots and thousands of young people across the borough, because you know, there will be young people in Isleworth and Feltham, in Hamworth, in Chiswick, across the whole of the borough, will also have their needs and asks and wants. So it's important to do that. But going back to your question in Feltham, I think, you know, not just Feltham, but every area needs enough for young people to do. But having said that, I'm also aware that not all young people like the same thing. So what you might like is not something what somebody else might like elsewhere. Whether it will reduce antisocial behaviour, I think that's quite a complex question, because it isn't antisocial behaviour isn't necessarily I don't think it's a direct consequence of not having things to do. I think it can do, but I think it can be a whole variety of reasons and issues leading to antisocial behaviour. And I know that we've talked about this here on a number of occasions. How do we deal with antisocial behaviour? And I think one of the positive things that has come out of some of the teams that are working across the council is lots of sort of the areas within the council getting together and trying to work out what are the actual causes of antisocial behaviour. So if they know a particular family that might be causing it, maybe work out what problems there are within that particular family. But going back to your question, yeah, I mean, I think all young people, including young people in Feltham as well, deserve to have good quality facilities and enough things to do, and I think that's really important. So I do agree with you on that.
Thank you, Lily. As a Feltham councillor for many years, and I've lived... Oh, God. We are not alone. They are amongst us. I've lived in the town many years. I'm aware of the historical discrepancy between exam results between certain parts of this borough and our end, even though there were pockets of real achievement. I know historically aspiration has not been what it should be. I've seen it on the estates that I represent. I'm also aware that we still have a Feltham prison down the bottom there, which continues to blight our reputation. And we don't celebrate enough, ladies and gentlemen, what our young people do in this town. The young people that we see here tonight and others do so much good things. I was talking earlier, and when I go into the pub in Feltham, people are always running the youth down, you know, that of course we have issues with some of our youth in this town, but there are so many positive things. We have to go out there and shine a light on the positive things. And I personally will do all I can to see that our town and our young people gets absolutely the best it can, in the best fit that we can as a local authority. So that's my commitment, and that's the best that I can do, and I know there's other members that support that. But thank you so much for your question. Thank you for coming again and doing this display. Do you wish to come back with something else, Lily?
Yeah,
sure.
I was going to say that, of course, thank you for coming and raising that question, but in terms of looking into what we are going to do in the future, I would like to continue to work with the young people, particularly when we carry out the review, because I think that's going to be really important. It's really important to hear what young people are saying. So I hope that you will continue to engage with us. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Lily. And I believe you met the leader again last week and is committed to a process, as Lily's explained. Yeah, step by step. We will do that. Thanks very much indeed. Give them a round of applause, folks. Really do. One more. Oh, there's another question. Sorry. Is it Kyle or is it Evie's mum? Sasha. Sorry, Sasha.
Just an open question. Are you scared and concerned for young people in Feltham, and if not, why?
Is that question aimed at me or members or to everyone? Sorry, could you repeat it? Scared and... Okay, I'm concerned that there are a lot of our young people who aren't getting the support they should. I'm aware that this summer, with some of the antisocial behaviour we had, that through working with the police and support groups, these are problem young people who've got problems. We actually managed to sort a lot of it out through talking to them and their parents. So I'm scared that something could go wrong, and something could go wrong at any time in any place. But it is more my concern that we won't have the long-term support to join these things together. But that's one of my commitments, to have a summit with the police and all our partners to actually work on the issues that we saw affecting our town in May, June and July, and not so much in August when the school holidays started, because we had brilliant partnership working. And I'm actually confident that that will work, and that's a real plus. Am I scared? I'm only scared when something could potentially go wrong, horribly wrong, and how can you control that? But my concern is the best thing, and my commitment is there with that concern as chair of this forum. Yeah, would anyone else like to pop in on that? Oh, is that Evie's mum? Oh, Sarah's mum. I'm sorry, you did tell me that 3 times. Sorry, Sarah's mum.
I shouldn't have told you that before, but the question is, what are the timescales that you are committed for the review? When is the review to start, and when are you to conclude that review? So sort of young people of the, of the borough, when can they expect some definite answers? Is it happening, is it not? But the timescales really what we're interested in.
Lily, would you like to pop in on that?
Yeah, I'm really sorry, but I can't give you the timescales. I know you want to hear the times. I don't actually know at the moment, but I will find out and I will let you know. I think the review is probably going to start imminently, but as with when it will finish, I mean, I'm always very keen to do something properly and listen to, the voices of as many young people as possible, because I think that's really important. So, but as soon as it starts, I can hopefully be able to give you some kind of timescale as well. Yeah, is that okay? Sorry. Oh, well, hopefully not years. It should be months, not years. But we would want to do it properly. I would want to do it properly, yeah. Because when you do a review, there's no point doing something half-baked. You want to have a good bash at it, right? Thank you.
Thanks, Lily. Thanks, guys. Please watch this space. Keep the communication coming. Yeah? Really proud to see. Can we give them a round of applause, guys? I know we did earlier, but please, let's do. I've been lucky enough to meet them in the Reach Foundation and other places too, and I'm very impressed. And I so wish more people in this town could see what you do and what people like you are doing. Okay, moving on to the next question. We've got one. There's a gentleman over on the left-hand side. By the way, if you are sitting on that side and you have a hearing aid, apparently we've got some sort of system working tonight whereby, is that right? You'll be able to hear it better. I'm not a technician, but our great friend over there, he said that is what was happening. So Angie's looking happy now, she can hear. So a question from the gentleman who's holding the microphone there.
Oh, yeah. I just want to know what kind of communication you have, like as councillors, with your officers, because I've heard you talking about the kids and what you guys want to do, but we've got 200 kids who just lost their football field over at Green Lane, nearly a month now because the Travellers went on there. We've had not one phone call from any member, apart from councillors, a few of them sitting in here today who have been really supportive. Not one officer has asked where the kids are gone. 7 years old, 8 years old, 9 years old, 10 years old. Not one. So how much is the gap between you as councillors and them as officers? Because I don't seem to understand what it is. It's because the left hand does. You're all saying to me, or everybody, it's all about the kids, it's all about the community. I know, you know what I mean, but there's 200 kids.
Thank you for that question, sir. 3 or 4 years ago, I would have said there was a bit of a gap between officers and councillors. It took longer to actually get to officers and get proper responses through members' casework, which is the main way we do it. But some of us who've been around a while, we go directly to officers, don't we? Because we know where to go when we hear the right sort of questions. So I would say that isn't the case now. The case you're talking about, obviously something hasn't worked there, but we can get a response on that. We'll find the right people. I find officers very responsive. A lot of them are in the room tonight, and they've made a big effort in the last year or two with our locality model to make. It's the most important thing. Councillors have got to be closer to the people they represent, and the officers have got to be more responsive to the councillors who they're serving. And I think we're on that journey, and I think we will do it. So I'm actually quite positive. On your particular case, no, that isn't acceptable. And what's happening to the young people who've lost that facility at the moment, they need to know what's been done.
The thing is, it seems to me like, because all the officers which you've had for the last 7 or 8 years have all just come along as well. And you know what I mean, even though you're saying that you're together with them, as what we can see, you're worlds apart. They're absolutely worlds apart. So, and I'm not digging it out. As I said, the councillors have been really good and really helpful, really supportive. But all of a sudden, on a Monday, 200 kids are playing football. The Travellers come. Okay, Tuesday we're not.
Yeah. Well, those councillors that are around this table are helping. I don't know which ones they are, but I would ask them to pick this up and go straight to the officers now, because it isn't good enough, and we do need that response and we need action. So thank you very much for that question. Thank you. And it's Sam. Hello, Sam.
Hi. Listening to the youth and living in this community for about 27 years, my question is to you, Lily Bath, Councillor Lily Bath, is the assets review took 3 years, and you're saying to the youth that we have to wait to what are the other part of the borough. They can only speak for, obviously, Feltham, and Feltham is really let down with the youth. I've seen, you're saying that I don't think the antisocial behaviour is through lack of, there isn't a lot to engage in. You know, I don't know if you've been out there and had a look yourself. You tell me, you know, when you're...
Sam, can I ask you to put a direct question?
No,
Sorry.
I just want to say, when you're saying we will get back to you, to me, because it's 3 years it took, you know, for an assets review. So they're asking for, you know, for you to get back to them, and you're saying you don't know. And that's what we get a lot with the council. So, you know, if you feel passionate about the youth, then surely you should be working with them.
Okay, Lily, I'll just come back on that. Thanks, Sam.
Yeah. Well, it won't take 3 years. And of course, I'm working with them because that's the whole point of the review. So, as I said earlier on, the review will take place. And once it starts, we will be consulting and talking to young people. And I hope that you will be able to shape it. Of course, we have to talk to as many young people as possible. But that doesn't mean that it excludes the young people of Feltham. So I'm not entirely sure what comment you're trying to make, because of course we will be working with, the whole point of it is to listen to young people, but it's also about what we actually have in the borough at the moment, and what we can add. And it's not just, and it doesn't have to be youth provision, it could be parks, it could be leisure centres, and it isn't necessarily things that we have to provide as a council, it will be other providers as well. So I'm not really sure what else to add to that, except that of course we're committed to working with young people in Feltham. I've actually met them on quite a few occasions, and had several meetings around this. Visited the Croydon Youth Zone on their request. The leader visited the Croydon Youth Zone on their request and has had several meetings. So I think you can't say that we've not really listened. As I said, there is going to be review. We do want to do it properly. I wouldn't have thought it would take 3 years, but I can't give you a time frame, and I'm so sorry.
And just to come on the back of that, a proper consultation gives you the opportunity to get all of the information that you want to put in there, and a lot of information that may otherwise be missed. So then we've got a huge pool, or everything we need, to make these considerations so we make the right decisions, yeah, for the young people. That's that's what we have to do as a local authority. But you do have big backing, and we are aware of what the case is here in Feltham. So please bear with us with that. And we will get some traction under this review, Sam. We will get some traction under it, because it's a locomotive that needs to roll, isn't it? Thank you very much, Sam, for your question. Thanks.
I think Councillor Nagra had a question. No? Just to say, people are looking at me for the mic. Councillor Mitchell, I need your help to direct who's next.
I can see Angela Parton waving a piece of paper there.
One sec. Yeah.
Sorry, there's somebody else is there. Hello, good evening, how are you? Could you give us your name and where you live?
My name is Elaine Lloyd, and I live in Bedfont, by Bedfont Church.
Hello, Miss Lloyd, nice to see you.
I think you might have been aware that somebody would come to this meeting tonight after we had the Flintstone rocks put all round the green. And it hasn't...
Yabba dabba do, I think, is the answer to that.
And it hasn't done...
Yes, we are aware. Yep.
And the tinkers are back, right? All that money being spent by the council. There has been no consultation for, for the area, for people to talk about it, to find something different. And we are very angry about it, because we are quite proud for where we live, and we do lots of things to try and keep it enjoyable for other people. I have done part of a petition, but today the weather was against me. I just could not believe yesterday that those men had worked there all day, and yet they hadn't finished what they perhaps were hoping to achieve, and then the tinkers just came up the road and parked themselves there again. And quite honestly, we feel we're being made a laughing stock. And we're fed up cleaning up after them, time and time again. We do it voluntarily, so the area is kept nice for people. And several people, when I put the petition in front of them, they said that area is why we came to buy property here. And can I ask you something else? Also, the historic seat, I think it's made of steel or something, that's been there for years and years round a tree. Now, that has disappeared. And this, and seating has disappeared. I mean, how much more have we got to put up with?
Thank you, Ms Lloyd. Thank you for your question. Councillor Mear did circulate some pictures earlier. I saw it later this afternoon. It's not a good look, is it? A big effort has been made by the council there, and one part of it wasn't done maybe as it could have been, but there may be reasons for that. It's not something we're particularly happy or proud of, but I think Councillor Sidhu will have a little update for us. He represents your ward, Ms Lloyd. Ragwinder Sidhu.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you for the question. Yes, that's a temporary arrangement done by the council, so to see how much effects that rocks have on the travellers. So if travellers still break the rocks and enter in, then we have to find other ways to block them, because this year we have more than 27 times they came to our borough compared to last year, which was 7 times. So this year really we had big problems with travellers. They are protected by the law. We can't just block. We just can't just remove them. When they come, we have to do the process to take them out. So it takes time. So obviously they leave lots of mess, and then council have to clear that on taxpayers' money. Regarding the rocks, I understand. I have spoken to many people there. Some says it looks very good. Some says it looks ugly. So we have to take it. We have to take it. How the funding is, how much money we have to spend, and with the best funding available to us. We council have really big problems with funding from last nearly 8 to nearly 12 years. So we are struggling. Council can't print money, so we have problems, and we are trying to come best solution out of that. Thank you.
Can I just ask Councillor Lillybath to come in? She wanted to add to that comment from Councillor Sidhu. Lillybath.
Yeah, thank you for that question. I also represent the Bedfont ward, and I wanted to say that I do concur with Councillor Sidhu. We have had mixed reactions, so we've had enough people saying that they actually do like it as well, but so I understand there's always going to be a difference of opinion. So obviously it is an arrangement, a temporary arrangement, to see how well it actually works, and we'll have to see what happens and what permanent structure can be put in place, because we don't know whether this will work and whether we need to make any changes. But Councillor Sidhu is right in terms of the legal process. It can take actually quite a long time when you do get travellers on site. So it's not that the council isn't doing anything. They obviously have to go through the legal processes to go to court, etc., and do what is needed. And I know that they've been. Some of you have contacted us after the site's been vacated and it's empty, and obviously there's a lot of rubbish left over. But I do believe that the council have come in quite quickly and cleared that. But if that is if you feel that that isn't the case, then do let us know, and we'll make sure that it is cleared. But in terms of the long-term strategy, I think it will. We've got to do it properly, and it's got to look nice, but it's got to. The majority of people have got to like it as well, but it's also got to be useful in terms of as a deterrent as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Lily. Could you wait for the mic, please, Miss Lloyd? Yeah.
If one of the councillors just took a ride into Datchet Village, they had the same problem, and they've solved it. Just go and have a look. And they live quite happily now without the tinkers, without all that expense that is going on the borough. That is not the only site that's happening. There are 2 additional sites that you're going to put these bollards.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Miss Lloyd. If you'd like to take that with one of your councillors afterwards, maybe Ragwinder, just to chat to him, that'd be great. Can I ask, we have an officer with us from the council who's actually been working on this today and yesterday, I believe. Sorry, I've forgotten your name, sir.
My name's Josh Samuel.
It's Josh?
Yes.
Thank you.
I work for Lambton Services, who are in effect the operations arm of the council in a lot of way. We are a private contractor owned by the council who have set us up to deliver services on their behalf. So the issue of travellers and unauthorised vehicles is really difficult. It's very emotive, it's very hard to manage, and there are different solutions to protect green spaces. You can have near-rail fences, you can have bollards, you can have soil bunds, but at the end of the day, you need to be able to stop vehicles getting onto these spaces. The best answer is a soil bund, a soil hill that you can't drive a caravan over. However, Bedfont Green does not let itself to that. It's got 101 services, lines, phone lines, wires, things digging under it, running through it. To dig the soil out, you'd be making big divots in, so it's really not best suited. Bringing soil in is very expensive. The stones were an option that went through 2 or 3 phases within LBH Parks team and the other engagement and enforcement teams. They were chosen, we were asked to deliver it. We have not finished the project yet. It is halfway through. We have set a target of 6 to 8 weeks to deliver it. There are 3 green spaces within Bedfont Green. We've also got Bedfont Close and Cage Park. So there are 5 spaces that we plan to deliver them. They are 300 to 400 kilo stones each. Everyone's got a different opinion about what looks nice, what doesn't, but we haven't finished yet. So the fact that they've re-arrived today, or last night, sorry, midway through the project, is a right pain. It is fundamentally frustrating, but there's no way to predict that. They've moved from Lambton, where they were just evicted by the colleagues at the back very recently. I don't mean to make light of it. These guys have struggled. They have been in Lambton, they've been in Redleys, they've been in Osterley Park, Tesco's, car park. They have been one group, they split into 5 groups, they've come back to one group. This year, above all years, has been a very, very hard year for travellers and the incursions, the damage they do to the parks, CB Hounslow, Green Lanes. Again, that site is slightly different because it's not a park site, it's a corporate managed site, and you've got different teams interacting with enforcement, with the police, with the different communities. Yours is a lease site, these are park-led sites. So the way the council operates with different silos, different departments, adds to some complexity in how to then manage the individual problems you've got on those sites. With Bedfont Green itself, we need to finish. We need to finish placing all the stones, and then we need the gates fitted. There are 7-metre wide gates going in. Only when it's finished will they be, in effect, proofed. To be fair, whether you've got a knee-high rail with security fencing, whether you've got bollards concreted in, if somebody wants in, they will get in. Redleys Park was locked, they were in there. Lambton Park was locked, they were in there. However, by breaking into it, they are causing a criminal act which allows our colleagues at the back to move them faster. Without the formal boundary, moving into that space and not breaking any laws to get there, then they have more rights. So it is a balancing act between creating something they may have to destroy to get through, to then allow the police to use their powers to remove them. That said, I know our colleagues in enforcement and elsewhere are looking at the options of a PSPO, a Public Service Protection Order. It's something I know was discussed a few years ago. It's very early days and it hasn't come back to a council-led to put in front of councillors yet. I would like the opportunity to promote the PSPO option that will allow the police to act faster and in different ways And I do believe there's merit in discussing that at a later date, but that is, again, a much bigger conversation. The PSPO on dog protection, which is going in a minute, is a 12 to 18 month process. One that looks at green spaces and activities in ASB will also take at least that sort of time.
Josh, thank you for that very full and, well, a full answer. And we think tomorrow might be when...
Scattergun approach, we're working on all 3 sites at the same time. That's not ideal, it's not how we plan it, but at least this way we can mobilise between the 3, and wherever they go, we can be somewhere else. And eventually, within 6 to 8 weeks, the stones will be in place, and then the gates will be fitted. The gates are in order. I think they're a good 4 or 5 weeks away from arriving, and it's only when the gates go in with the stones that we have secure perimeters.
Okay, Josh, thank you very much indeed. Yeah, please give him a round of applause. We're very lucky to have officers that can think around something like that. That would baffle me. I think it's a shame that our designated traveller site 5-6 years ago apparently became contaminated for certain reasons. Hence, we lost that site. I can see Angela still waving her card. Angela Parton. And this will probably be the last one in the open forum. Thank you.
I'll try and be as quick as possible. Thank you, Councillor Mitchell. I'd just like to raise the scheme that is being spread out to the borough of the Lime e-bikes. Now, all I've seen, I expect there's a few residents here that's on the Nextdoor platform and on Facebook and everything. I have only seen negative comments about the lime green e-bike scheme. And I was horrified when I walked to work to find out there is a parking space for the e-bike actually on the War Memorial area. Now, there's already bike racks at each end of the War Memorial area, and I've been doing community work in Feltham for the last 9 years. Our first clear up of Feltham Pond in 2016, we dredged out 9 bikes out of there. So I wrote a letter to the head of transport, and the gentleman from the lime green e-bike came back to me, and then apparently there will be a review of the scheme after so many months or whatever sort of thing, you know, to assess the comments of residents and the feedback of the e-bike. And I would like to say, I think it's absolutely disgraceful. There is no consultation at all with businesses and local community groups as to where these e-bike stations will be put. And I had to dredge an e-bike away from the high street curb because it was halfway dumped on the high street, which could have caused an accident. So basically, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Angela. It was councillors that, yes, I will bring Alexandra in 1 moment. It was councillors that did take part in some form of consultation. And there were 1 or 2 parking bays that have come up that we believe certainly need a review, and that's one of them. And that has been made clear to the lead member and others, but that is part of the process. Yes, I mean, the consultation, as was when you say community groups, maybe that's something we could learn from. Maybe it did go a bit quick. But I can tell you that apparently there's been 50,000 trips since June, July in the Chiswick, Isleworth and Osterley area. And it's actually quite successful when the people who actually use them themselves. You can get 50% off for lower income residents. And unsafe and unsocial use is being tackled. There's a 93% compliance now, apparently, and that's all very good. But we've still got these outstanding things which need to be addressed. Can I ask Alexandra, who's been heading up on the officer side, the Lime Bike scheme with members, to say a few things over there? We're lucky to have her this evening. Alexandra.
Hi everyone. So first thing to make clear is it is very much a trial. We wanted to achieve borough-wide coverage, first of all, which we've just achieved this week. And then the 6-month trial starts from now. If you've got comments on bay locations, you can write into the traffic@hounslow.gov.uk email address and make those comments known. We will be reviewing all of those as they come in. We're looking at all the comments we're receiving, checking if there's anything imminent that needs addressing. And then anything else will be waiting until the end of the 6 months trial to be reviewed. But as the councillor says, the scheme is proving very popular. We're getting on average of 50,000 trips each month at the moment over the summer period. So it is seeing very strong usage, but obviously very mixed opinions. I'd also add that Lyme already had a presence in the borough before we officially launched this scheme. At the moment, there's no legislation that exists to stop the bikes operating in the borough. So what we sought to do was bring an element of control to the scheme by ensuring that the bikes have to be parked within the bays that we've dedicated for that purpose. Anyone parking outside of the bays will be fined, and if they keep on parking outside of the bays, they will be banned from the scheme. At the moment, we are experiencing some issues with hacking of the bikes, but Lyme are rolling out a fix to that at the moment, which we expect to be in place very soon, and that should again help with the parking compliance.
Alexandra, can you make it clear where people can actually contact your department to feed in their comments?
Yep, so traffic@hounslow.gov.uk. We've just launched a consultation on our parking and curbside strategy. So that's thinking about how we want to use the curbside. So that's the space where cars are parked across the borough. So do we want to see other uses at the curbside other than just cars for people who don't drive, can't afford to own a car? So that could be cycle parking, it could be e-bikes, it could be car clubs, it could be more planting, trees, seating. Tell us what you'd like to see there. So that's another way of commenting.
Okay, Alexandra, thank you very much indeed. I'd just finally like to bring in Councillor Kuldeep Tak on that, who did have his hand up. Kuldeep, could you have the final say on this item? Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Well, I'm really concerned about the locations of these parking bays and the claims that 50,000 bike journeys, I don't see them happening in this part of the borough. Probably Chiswick, they are happening, but I don't see anybody riding Lime bikes in Feltham, apart from some teenagers who are actually not riding, just abusing these bikes. So, and we, along with the other councillors, have already received lots of complaints from the residents about these locations and people getting injured from these bikes dumped at inappropriate locations. Our transport assistant director's reputation is not that great in terms of dealing with these temporary traffic orders through which he has implemented this Lime bikes. So I would request Chair to either write to the Assistant Director to review it immediately instead of waiting 6 months.
Thank you, Councillor Tak. Assistant Director has always been very supportive in the schemes we've done. I'm aware there are teething problems here, and I take your point about the youths, one of whom I spoke to earlier, and some of these bikes turning up on things like Whitton Station Bridge, out in the middle of nowhere, I often see. So yes, let's take the advice of Alexandra, let's feed all of this back, and let's make sure we get it right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we've actually gone past time now. Sorry, Tony, but if you can bring it to me at the end, that would be great. So we're moving on from the open forum to the Safer Communities Update. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as you're aware, in the summer months, we had a lot of problems in the town centre, in the shops, in some of the flats. with certain youth, certain gangs causing havoc. I was lucky with the support of colleagues here to speak to Inspector Sharma and Sergeant Binns and several other senior officers to work out a short-term plan which also involved an additional £6,000 worth of money for extra patrols, which was largely successful in August. That's partnership working, okay? But on a broader scheme, our community safety partnerships, we're very lucky to have Editor Quicksack, who is there. She does the police liaison, community liaison, safer neighbourhood teams, or safer neighbourhood patrols as well. And so I'd like to ask Editor to give her piece now on our Safer Communities update. Thank you, Editor.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for having us. And obviously, as Councillor Mitchell mentioned, we have focused over the last 3 months, since June, since last time we've seen you, on approaching the issues in Feltham High Street. As you might know, there was a lot of tensions, a lot of incidents that were coming up. The residents were sharing those concerns. We had reports, we had the police present. So I would like to point out the kind of key elements that we've looked at and that we've tried to introduce to tackle this situation and make sure that we are on top of what's happening and that we have some plan going forward, hopefully getting some good results. So out of those 3 elements that I want to discuss, the first one of them would be the police forces. And we had a major response from the police, increased patrols, extra resources on the floor over the whole summer holidays. Build on this one, we've also tried to engage with the residents to know what the residents really experience, what is the feedback. We were going out to businesses, specifically in Feltham High Streets, who are affected, which one of them are affected, how much. We've been going to private landlords, private organizations to have their say, to know what they're doing, and to bring them to the table in terms of how they want to be involved or what kind of results are they expecting us to bring. Also through, for example, private landlords and social landlords, we're able to circulate information better and get their residents' feedback from them, because sometimes the people are not coming directly to us. We've also been trying to get ward panels going, and we have 3 lovely ladies today with us who are involved with ward panels for Feltham West, Feltham North, and Bedfont. So if anybody would like to get involved in this initiative, would like to attend the meetings and have their say, please let us know, and we can link you in with the ward panels. This is the part of engagement with residents. And the third element that I wanted to touch on is approaching individuals. So when we already know that the people who are engaging in antisocial behavior in Feltham High Street are primarily young people, we are trying to bring to the tables all the organizations that do work with them, and also the response from the authorities, which is the police forces, specifically the teams and divisions that work with young people, as well as adolescent services. They have the special outreach now in place who are working with young people on the streets in the evenings very often, together with other services such as, for example, our Safer Communities 18 to 25 service, who are trying to access slightly older people. And this approaching individual is about making sure that we know who those people are and can we help them? Can we provide some services or direct them somewhere to help them to manage this behavior? Or if we can't, can we make sure that the wider community is safeguarded from this kind of behavior, and that we can then direct those cases to the local police to enforce against them. Those are the 3 key elements. We've seen a very good result in terms of the decrease of those incidents towards August and September. We know that now the school is back. That can all change. So we're not planning to minimize any of those activities. We're planning to build on it. We're holding the area-based meetings every month. And the main point of agenda at the moment is Feltham High Street. How can we expand those links? How can we work with more organizations, access more residents, and build on this one so we know what to do not to have the situation again to this extent. So that's primarily what we've been doing over the last 3 months, but based on what I remember from last meeting, there was one lady who gave us the feedback that we should actually say more about what our team, as the part of Community Safety Division and working with councillors, what are the issues that we work on a daily basis. And I just wanted to quickly mention a couple of cases, individual ones that I've recently was able to close. And those cases, one of them were referred to us by one of the councillors, the other one by the residents themselves. And those were ladies who found themselves experiencing antisocial behavior, not domestic violence, but in the places where they lived. And both of them needed rehousing from similar reasons, but living in different conditions. So my role in this one, and Safer Communities as such, would be to make sure that these people have access to absolutely every organization that can help them. If we need statements from the support organization, authorities or not, from private ones, how do we get them? What do they really need to know? Who do they need to go? Which organization, so we can guide them through the whole process of how to change the situation. Both of them were successful. Both of them changed where they live and have the chance to live free out of the disturbances that they had. The second type of cases I wanted to mention is working at the estates. And this particular one that I want to mention is the estate where the setup and the design is sort of vulnerable in terms of being used by people who want to engage with antisocial behavior. The first time the occurrences started happening, we were able to, again, connect everybody together. So together with the landlords, the police, adolescent services, as well as even the external organization to help advise on the matters how to make it better. Thanks to that, several perpetrators were served.
Editor, could I just pause you? Sorry. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an exciting announcement. Does someone have a silver Honda LDIOBZE? Oh, it's Councillor Tack. He's the winner. Could you possibly move it, Coldy, because you're blocking someone in? There you are. These damn councillors, they're all at it. Yes, he's blocking a Lime bike in. Yeah, that's right. Okay, let's carry on. Editor, thank you.
So the first time the occurrences started happening, we were able to connect all the services. The appropriate notices and enforcement actions were taken by the police, and this behavior stopped. A few months after, with the same location, we had antisocial behavior but connected to completely different perpetrators. And in this instance, we were able to reach out far away even from this estate to link the police and the owners of the estate with completely different organization, a different part of the borough, to make sure that the people are found, that the resources are connected, and that we can, without even like using the criminal justice methods to get it sorted and help, first of all, state, and second of all, the people who are engaged in this behavior. So this is the kind of stuff we do. This is the kind of cases we work on a daily basis, a part of the strategic work. All our details are on the screen. So if you would like to get in touch with us, to get advice, or maybe to check how can you get involved, what do we know from each part of the borough, please let us know. Thank you.
Thank you, Editor. Give her a round of applause. She works so hard for our community. Can I ask members, do you have any quick questions for Editor? Councillor Ragwinder Sidhu.
Thank you, Editor. Thank you very much. So my question is regarding, because now winter football season started, we have big problem on Hatton Road traffics on especially Saturdays and Sundays. Do we have any solutions lined up for that?
You mean for traffic?
Yes.
I wouldn't be able to really advise you on the traffic, but we can connect it with a team who deals with the traffic issues, and how can we assist them with that? Because I'm not sure, what the issues would be.
I'll speak to you afterwards.
No problem. Thank you.
Councillor Mohammed Akram.
Yeah. My question is for the Feltham Park. 2 arrested and charged for the robbery in the Feltham Park. What is the outcome for this one? The 2 arrested and charged in the Feltham Park, yeah? What is the outcome of this outcome, and what is the future plans to stop for the robbery in the park?
I wouldn't be able to advise you on the incidents in Feltham Park, but we have colleagues from police here. Maybe they can help with those.
Yeah, if the police officers could jump in when it's pertinent to their remit. Thank you.
So the Feltham Park robbery is still an ongoing investigation, so there's not much I can comment on that. Anything further on that?
It's an ongoing... Okay, it's ongoing, so we...
What is the future plan to stop this one, the robbery, the park? Do you have any future plans?
So we'll patrol the area more frequently, that's our future plan.
This is robbery done in the last four months, two arrested. Might be that there is more, and the whole we can stop this one. Any visitor, what you doing in the next future?
So we'll continue to patrol the area, and we know certain robbers, so we'll be looking out for them guys or girls, and yeah, we'll just continue patrolling.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. I think there's a lot of intel that the police have, which is confidential, but they do use. Councillor Lillybath.
Thank you, Adita, and thank you for your help with some of the issues that we've raised with you before. I wanted to ask you a question about young people and antisocial behaviour as one of your sort of work streams and project. And I know you've got an outreach programme as well. Can you tell us how successful it's been and how have you engaged with young people? It's a shame actually we haven't got any young people here now, because earlier on there was a question around, you know, do you feel, are you scared for young people of Feltham? So it's just about what kind of engagement have we actually got with young people, because obviously they worry about antisocial behaviour, we all do, but it's hard to engage, isn't it, when you want to hear their thoughts and want them to contribute and be able to sort of, you know, help kind of make our areas safer. So I just wondered what kind of, what are you getting out of the outreach programme? Is there anything you can share with us?
So just to start, we have here with us Phil Hopkins, who's the head of Adolescent Services, and who would like to maybe say a few words?
Just a few, Phil. Thank you.
Yeah, you won't get much more than a few from me. So in terms of the antisocial behaviour, there's a number of work streams, as Councillor Bath was saying. So our main aim is prevention and early help. So in terms of thinking about that early help and prevention, we've got 2 outreach workers who are funded via the Violence Reduction Unit. It's a 2-year pilot project, and they've been working primarily in Hounslow High Street and in Feltham, and slightly wider than just Feltham High Street and some of the parks. They've had some really good engagement with young people, and it's probably the young people that you've been talking about in terms of those concerns about antisocial behaviour through May, June, July, and certainly through some of the summer holidays. We've also got what's called the Turnaround Project, and that's money that's come from the Youth Justice Board. Again, that's very much around prevention and early help. It was around what are called community resolutions, which is something that the police can give to a young person if they come to their attention, as well as what we call no further outcomes that the police might give to a young person. But they recently widened the eligibility criteria to include antisocial behaviour. So at the moment, if a young person is warned about antisocial behaviour 3 or more occasions, we can engage with them. So with the police and with the enforcement team, we're developing a workshop-based approach for young people. And then what we also want to do is for some of our more persistent offenders, with the police and with enforcement, we're looking at whether we can take action against that young person. And unfortunately, it will mean for some of our housing tenants that if somebody in that household continues to cause antisocial behaviour, we'll look at actually whether they can sustain that tenancy. So a whole raft from early help prevention up to actually taking enforceable action.
Inspector Sharma discussed some of this with me when we were dealing with Feltham in the summer. So thanks, Phil, for that. One final item on this, a question from Councillor Heenamir.
Thank you, Editor. My question is on Feltham West ward I represent. In past, we secured £6,000, which resulted more patrolling on High Street, and ASB warnings being issued and more arrests. So just want to know, are we expecting more funding, considering High Street, Feltham High Street has the most highest crime rate?
I wouldn't be able to answer this one, but again, if I could ask the colleagues from police to share their information.
Yes, we've bid for a further £2,000, which will cover the month of September. Just waiting to hear back if we've been able to get that. But I will continue each month, which I have been doing for the last few months, to keep bidding, to put extra patrols on. We've also got Up Nightingale, which is running for the remaining quarter, which allows for 2 officers on a Saturday and 2 on a Sunday during peak times to be patrolling in Feltham High Street, which I think has made quite a bit of a difference as well.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. And as someone who lives in the town centre, I have to say I've seen that taking place, and I'm very pleased. It's been very successful. I see a hand at the back, so I'll take one question from that gentleman.
Just one question. With all the housing that you're putting up, how many more police are we going to get?
Well, I think we're a town, however many houses or flats we have, we do have a housing crisis actually, which we're trying to deal with, but I think we're a good enough town that we probably don't need more police than we've usually got at the moment. We've fought for more because we've had the problems, but we're dealing with those problems. But we've also got to deal with the housing crisis and things like that. Yes, you're right about the flats. We've built the flats and we're providing homes for people. Yes, we'd like to see some more houses. The MOD site is key to that in the next 3 or 4 years. But I'm confident if we keep working with the police, we'll have the right numbers to deal with the problems we see in our community every day. And what we've seen this summer is a very good example of that, I'd say. Thank you. But I'm not going to take any more questions on that because we've come to the end of that item. But can I thank Editor, can I thank Phil? Can we thank the police officers who've done such a brilliant job this summer when it came to the school holidays, considering what could have happened and what was happening. I was absolutely amazed. Partnership working works. Okay. We're moving on to item 5. Now, I mentioned earlier about the launch of the Community Hubs project here on Tuesday. Is it item 6 already? Oh, sorry, who is it now? Yeah. Yes, we mentioned the Community Hubs launch on Tuesday the 26th and the Family Hubs. We've got Tim Shand, who... That isn't Tim Shand. It's Mr. Mayer. It's Matt Mayer. He's got the same surname as a bloke. Is he now the manager of Southend United? He used to play for him. Kevin Mayer. So let's give Matt a big welcome. He's done some fantastic work making things better for our community. Let him talk about it because he knows more than me. Matt.
Thank you, Councillor Mitchell and Chair, and thank you for coming to the Feltham Area Forum. And I'm here to talk to you about our community hub here in Feltham. And my colleague Mohammed is here to talk about the family hub. And you might be thinking, well, what on earth does that mean? And I'm here to tell you. So, oh, it's going the wrong way. Oh, the slides don't appear to be there. Emily, is the slide... keep going round? Oh, here we go. That was my fault. Sorry about that. So on a Tuesday afternoon, here in Feltham Assembly Hall, you can come to speak to a wide range of council teams and charities and VCSE organisations to provide information, advice and guidance and take part in a range of different activities that we're putting on. It's every Tuesday afternoon. It started here at Feltham Assembly Hall, and it's intended to mean that there's a real sort of shift towards having council officers and organisations such as Citizens Advice, each who provide counselling and advice and guidance, closer to you. So you don't have to travel over to Hounslow House. You don't have to wait ages on the telephone to get through to somebody. You can come and speak face to face. And that started already because we wanted to test it out. So at the end of June, we started using this space here to speak to residents, and it's been very popular so far. We're generally averaging about 75 residents at a peak that are coming through. We've been putting on activities. So, for example, there's been a repair shop, make, do, amend, sewing free activity. There's been multi-sports when schools close, taking place outside those doors, completely free. And this is all about a shift that our councillors have asked us officers to do about getting out there closer to communities to provide advice, information and guidance. So that's it pretty plainly. And I'm really pleased to announce also tonight that we'll be introducing a second day, which will be starting in November at Feltham Library, which will be delivered jointly with Citizens Advice. So in the room next to Feltham Library, you'll be able to come and speak to teams such as Community Solutions, who will help on a wide range of issues, revenue and benefits, housing and citizens advice. So it's free for anybody to come and to access those services, and is part of the council's shift to move more to work on a locality basis in places where people live.
Matt, can I just pause you a moment? Yep. The next car blocking an entrance, LC72UZV. It's a black, what is it? I can't tell from that.
Black car.
Yeah, I can't tell what, mate. Number plate, Lima Charlie 72 Uniform Zebra Victor. Anyone? No one in here. Okay. So Matt, carry on. And by the way, guys, looking at this, ladies and gentlemen, this, oh, he's moved the slide. But the previous slide, in a nutshell, sums up the excellent work, better use of existing buildings, the right services in the right places, people feel empowered to advocate for themselves and make challenges early on and not wait until there's a crisis. This is excellent, Matt. Please carry on.
So, I mean, one of the questions earlier was around the asset strategy and, you know, why has it been taking so long? Well, actually, you know, through reviewing our assets, we're actually using that information, and this has involved the better utilisation of Feltham Assembly Hall. Here we go. Here's some of the pictures. You can see some of the activities going on. Approximately 70 residents per session, but we want to give you the opportunity to say to us, actually, we'd like to see that, we'd like to see that. Oh, it's all very well bringing those services, but what about that team? I'd like to speak to that team face to face. So my colleague Tim, in a moment, is going to lead a session to enable you to do those. But excitingly, this is not the only addition to this locality piece, what's going on in your place. We have introduced a family hub with Department for Education funding, which is at the Elf King Centre across the way, and my colleague Mohammed is going to talk to you about that.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Mohammed. I'm the project manager for Family Hubs. So essentially, Family Hubs is a national program rolled out by the government. It started last year, and there's 75 local authorities who have signed up to the program, including Hounslow. And what the government is doing, giving a pot of money to each local authority to set up these hubs, which essentially act as a one-stop shop for families with children aged 0 to 19 or up to 25 with SEND. It's a place where they can go for information, advice, and support when they need it. There's a particular focus on early support, early help, and early intervention. The idea is that if we can support families earlier on, then the issues and the needs that they have, it stops these issues from escalating to the point where statutory or more serious intervention is required. The idea is that we can kind of nip these issues at the bud. It's predicated on 3 core principles: access, making it easy for families to access the right support at the right time. It's about improving connection between different services, different professionals, different sectors working together. And lastly, it's about relationships. There's plenty of relationships out there. The idea is that we use these relationships and leverage these relationships to improve the support that's available for families across Hounslow. Now, as part of the requirement by the government, there's a whole host of services that need to be delivered through Family Hubs. You can see to the right, I'm not going to go through the whole list, but you can see there's a whole range of services, and these are services typically that families will require at some point, during the course of their lives. These services, the plan is that these services will either be delivered in the hub directly, or they will be available through the hub, i.e. linked through the hub but delivered elsewhere, or it could be a virtual offer. Like, for example, we've recently launched online courses, free online courses for families, which they can access at their own time and take at their own pace. We launched 3 hubs in Hounslow in June. For the west area, we've launched one at Alf King, which is just down the road. In the central area, we've launched one in Lambton Centre, and in the east area, we've launched one in Brentford Centre. Along with that, we've created 2 access points, one at Feltham Library and one at Hounslow House. Again, it's somewhere where we believe families can go, where families typically go. They can go there and also be linked to the family hubs. And along with that, of course, we'll have the existing children's centres, which will continue to offer information, advice, and support for families with children aged 0 to 5. Sorry, that's it. Thank you very much for your time.
So just before I hand over to Tim, just quickly say, there's obviously a huge amount of fantastic activity that goes on across Feltham that's run by voluntary organisations, faith groups, residents groups themselves, neighbourhood associations. And some of that's got council involvement, some of it hasn't. Some of it's run by residents, some of it's run by our valued partner organisations. And one of the things we want to do as part of this localities approach, which includes the community hub and the family hub, is highlight some of that fantastic activity that people like Carol at the Bedfont Lane Community Centre and others, Southfield Road Community Centre, Age UK and others do, and to better communicate that and better tell people about it. Because there's a lot going on that's really fantastic, and we want that to be accessible as possible for you as residents of Feltham. But we haven't got it completely right, and we've heard about youth services and services for young people and what's needed there. So we're going to open it up now because we want to listen to you and to respond to where the gaps are. And I'll hand over to Tim.
Great. Thanks, Matt. All right, so you've had a brief overview of what the community hubs are trying to achieve, and now I'm going to ask that you just think silently, and I can give you a pen and paper if you want, for 1 minute about what more you would like to see at the community hubs. So we're going to have 1 minute of silent thinking, but just raise your hand if you want a pen and paper, if that will help you think. Then we'll go into a super quick discussion because we are going to finish on time. So, does anyone want a pen and paper to help them think? I'm going to set my timer.
I would just like to make a comment.
I didn't see you, Hina. Councillor Hina Mir.
Yeah, I think Citizen Advice Bureau, adding on them on board, will be really good for the residents, especially if they want to take legal advice free of charge. It will be really good for everyone. So, yeah.
So nobody wants pen and paper. So you've had a minute to cogitate, ladies and gentlemen. Has anyone got anything they'd like to, or are we still waiting?
So,
Tim, how are you doing?
I'm going to say, we've got 15 seconds left. I'm going to say, time up. Turn to your partner, find a partner, tell them what you're thinking about what could be added to the community hub. And then after another minute, if you want to share your ideas, we can just do a quick stand-up, popcorn-style share. It's going to be very fast because we do want to get out of here on time. So I'm going to give you 1 more minute to talk to your partner or anyone near you about what you think could be added to the community hub.
I work in a school. We do this all the time. The kids have to do this. They come up with ideas. George has got loads of ideas. Yeah, move back to Griffin Park. Members too can, of course, discuss. Members.
All right, that's a minute. We are pretty much out of time. Would anyone very quickly like to share what they think we should add?
And can someone note down what people are saying? Oh, sorry. Kay.
Hello everybody, I'm Hanan. I'm resident of Feltham for the last 20 years, but also the programme manager of Feltham Arts. Hello. My question was a quick one, because it's been something that people, since this has come up, have actually sort of asked me. Are there any plans to do anything in the evening with regards to the community hub?
Yes, that's right. We're going to be extending it to a twilight session for information, advice and guidance, and we do plan to run activities in the evening as well. But the first step will be establishing the second day, which will be in the afternoon, and then that will be extended into the evening.
Thank you.
Councillor Lily Bath.
I was just going to ask, is there, when residents actually attend the community hub or the family hub, is there an option for them to give immediate feedback in terms of take away a paper or something like that? Because I think sometimes that's quite useful.
Yeah, that's been really helpful actually in terms of shaping what the offer is. So we have some welcomers that offer teas and coffees and have got a tablet there to help people through some immediate feedback, which we've been able to respond to. Just to give you a quick example of how we've used that. So we've been able to plot on a map where that feedback's coming from, and we've been able to target leaflets in Feltham to the places where people live that haven't been coming so far. So just responding. We want this community hub to be different wherever it is. This has got to be responding to the needs of people in Feltham. It will be different in Brentford, it will be different in Hounslow.
Yeah, one more, Lily, yeah.
Sorry, do you get any young people coming at all? I mean, it's a shame the young people are not actually here, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, so we have had young people coming, particularly in the summer holiday period. The big draw has been the multi-sports activities that we've been putting on. But we have also had young people involved in some of the other activities. Young people that have come into the main room, which is this room with the teams around the side, have usually come with a sort of parent or carer. So, I mean, that's something, it's a challenge for us, and we've heard what you've said tonight. It's obviously a real need that we've got to respond to here in Feltham, but not one that we've cracked yet.
Okay, thank you, Tim. Can we give them a round of applause? It's, you know, it's fantastic work that's going on here in Feltham, in our town, and it's people working together, and we're going to make it better. Okay, thank you, gentlemen, and thanks for inviting members, Councillor Akram and myself, to the workshop. It's very valuable. And Councillor Nagra, who sadly had to go earlier. She's not very well. Okay, thank you, gentlemen. Okay, we're moving on to the last substantive item, which is what we're calling an action plan review. Is anyone in control of the slides? Hopefully. Basically, folks, whenever I've been chair of this forum, I've always thought that the members and the public should get closer together. We should be in better contact. And what we've seen tonight, I think, is opportunities where this can happen. Now, in other forums, Tony Lukey over in Osterley and Spring Grove has trialled a plan whereby they have a rolling action plan. This isn't individual personal pieces of casework, but issues which are of more wider interest to the general population living in an area. As you can see on the board there, this outlines points raised by the community and councillors at area forums that should be noted for action from teams and officers. And so every time we come back to a forum and there's an issue there, a rolling programme, we look at it and say, what progress have we made? Like getting the bridge fixed. Well, we've got the bridge fixed tonight. You know, things like that. But even more substantive issues. There's three that we're going to give as examples tonight. But first of all, to actually introduce it, I should have done this earlier. My colleague, please welcome the Deputy Chair of the Forum, Councillor Adesh Farman. Come on. Sorry.
Thank you, Chair. This action plan outlines points raised by the community and councillors at the area forum that would be noted for action from teams and officers. The community have asked for more accountability from their councillors, and the action plan is a good way of ensuring issue brought at area forum are received, reviewed, and not lost. This document is a work in progress that allows us to track, update, and give responses to the community before the next forum arrives where possible. This is being trailed in other forums, and a similar project-based action plan has been successful in Isleworth. The action plan encourages ward councillors for that area to highlight and report back on the points for their wards and have full involvement and awareness of the matters. If community wanted ongoing updates regarding action plan points, you can speak with the chair or the community development officer, or you can speak to the chair, Alan Mitchell, and speak to me. Thank you.
And email us. Are you going to introduce the 3 wards? Yeah. Do you want to introduce the 3 wards? Okay. Okay. Yeah, do we have the slides? I know Lily is going to talk about, we're going to start with Bedfont. Hopefully you can see that, folks. Lily's just going to give us a little précis of this particular issue. This is an example of what we hope to do, okay? And this is one. Thanks, Lily.
Okay, thank you. So some of you might be aware that outside Bedfont Sports Club on Hatton Road, during football days, you can get quite a lot of traffic. You can get cars parked outside on Hatton Road, which causes an obstruction. And we've had this raised with us from residents and from the Bedfont Sports Club themselves. So what we decided to do was do a sort of a visit with a whole team of officers from the councils to look at the problem and come up with some solutions. One of the things that we did look at is that the actual Bedfont Sports Club actually does have a car park area within the grounds, but it's in a very poor state, and it doesn't really allow for any car parking. If it was refurbished, it could possibly have around 100 car parking spaces for the club users. So one of the things that we said that we would do is go away and look at that. I know, to try and get some funding and find out what options are available. I mean, it's a long-term strategy, that one, to try and get money to get that done. But that's definitely something that we will look at, and the assets team are currently looking at that at the moment. Then there's the simple, well, it sounds simple, but might not be, solution of having more double yellow lines on there, on Hatton Road itself. And we had Hounslow Highways come, and they've taken some sort of, they've done a bit of a survey of the road, etc., and they've gone away to see what can be done, and it could be that we will be introducing double yellow lines or equivalent on that. And the idea of that is to deter the traffic, people parking there and causing them obstruction. So that is obviously a work in progress, but we'll keep you informed on that. I think according to that, it says Hounslow Highways actually have a scheme in place. Has that been decided then? No, not yet. Okay. I was getting hopeful.
Okay, yeah, so the other idea, folks, is that individual councillors can take sort of ownership of issues, you know, and sort of drive it forward as we go through. It doesn't mean, Lily, you have to take that one, but it's just a start.
Can I just say, it was all the ward councillors were involved in that.
That's the point.
Not just myself. We all went along, and with all the teams from the areas. So it's just that I'm reporting back on it.
Okay, and the next one is, so we're just going to go through the points, so I'll take a question in a minute, yeah. Yeah.
Do you also communicate with the person that gave you the question to help with the action plan, as in the residents in that area? So you're working together?
Yes, if members of the public come forward with the question, and we consider it and say, yes, we'll put it in the programme, Emily will give you the absolute detail on that.
So Albert, you can see that it says raised by, and we didn't put names in this, but for some of these, like obviously this is Terry from Bedfont Sports, for example, we don't want to put everybody's names in there because obviously GDPR, but in the fuller format that we have, the councillors see, you know, this is one for you, we didn't want to give you a full massive document, it will say raised by Albert XYZ, yeah. So and the idea is that we feed back to you as soon as we can.
Yes. It's part of that same theme, which I think has been running through all night. We want to carry on. Feltham West, that's our ward. That's me and Hina and Maddie, who's sadly got a bad back tonight. This problem over on what some may know as the Waterloo Estate or the Southern Avenue Estate or Proctor's Close, parking and traffic enforcement issues. Historically, you've had housing running part of the land there, the roads, some of the parking bays, and you've had Hounslow Highways doing other parts of the estate. This is historic. It goes back to Councillor John Cooper's time. Some of you may remember. He couldn't find a way around it. We've looked for a long, long time, but because of the issues it's now bringing, especially with extra cars in the area, with more people moving in, plus certain potential parking abuses or potential misuse of spaces, we now have housing and highways who are going to work together. I'm actually going to call that summit. I'm going to actually, well, not bang heads together, but as Carol knows, Carol runs the Bedfont Lane Community Centre, and it does impact particularly down there in Proctor's Close, as well as in other parts of the estate. We need to bring the right people together to find the right answer, the right solution to this problem, because it's absurd. It can't go on where you have housing and highways sort of contradicting each other. For the good of all of us, that's what we're going to do. So watch this space, because when we come back in 3 months' time, we should have some more positive information on that. Thank you. And we now move to Feltham North, and I believe actually Councillor Kuldeep Tak has got something to say. Is it Sparrow Farm? No, what's your... Yeah, okay. Kuldeep Tak.
Thank you, Chair. We have been reviewing the Passer Court Community Hall for quite some time with the assets team. It was supposed to be open in May earlier. We had an inspection in May, then we were given a date of July. There were ongoing ventilation issues. When the teams came in, they stumbled upon another issue. They got the power cut, and I've been told that the power is back on now, and the teams are going to be working or starting the assessing the work in October. So that's when we'll have another update from the team. Yeah. It's quite frustrating, but it is what it is.
There they go now. They're going to fix it now. Can you hear them? I've just gone past. You're right, Kuldeep, and Mohammed the same, and Samina, who's gone as Feltham North members. You bring that forward, whether you're a Labour or a Conservative member, and it will carry the same weight in terms of the community in this forum. Hence, Kuldeep brought that tonight. But all members, please bring forward in the future. It's 2 years now. I think, Sparrow Farm was quite controversial, and now we have these snagging issues. We shouldn't be having them after 2 years. I think we need to pull the collective finger out here and get this sorted. So again, watch this space. October, November, I think we're going to be quite close. So if we can make a note of that, Kay, we want to see some movement, particularly on that. So thank you very much, Kuldeep. Anyone else want to say anything about this, or any brief question on this new wonderful nirvana that we're bringing here to Feltham? Yeah? A quick one from the gentleman there who's got his hand up again. Thank you, Emily.
I just wanted to ask, does that relate to the previous minutes as well, for questions asked and replied back to?
Yes, it can do. Yes, yeah. Yeah, when we have minutes of meetings, yeah, if someone wants to raise something, you certainly can. Yeah. I mean, as members, we often do, if there's a report back, matters arising, we call it. Yeah. So we give an update as things move on.
So the last meeting, there were questions asked, but there was a reply to come back, and we're still waiting for them.
Emily, did we deal with... Pardon? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we need to check that. But I thought one or two had been direct responses, to be honest, directly. Yeah. Well, there you are. There's a case in point. Emily.
So I think, as I mentioned to you before, and we've discussed, one of the reasons for the action plan is that, you know, we do get a lot of questions, and some of them are quick questions that we can, you know, say, oh, this is the officer. Yeah. Some of them are more long-term, like we've seen today. Some of them are long-standing issues that we're trying to solve. And I think, you know, as you can see, our clerk makes notes for us fantastically. But this is a way of us tracking those bits that need, you know, are a longer-term plan. So as you've seen, there is 1 point for each ward today, but behind the scenes, we've got 5 or 6 on each one, and they are topics that come up at area forums specifically. So, you know, we've got ward walk actions that we discuss at another time, you know, things that come out of general community meetings, but this is specifically for the area forum. So if you're bringing something to the area forum and it's not a quick ask and we think, right, okay, this needs to be a longer term project, what are we doing with this? Then we would consider it for the action plan.
Questions that you don't have answers to. Oh, sorry. I'm talking about short-term questions but you don't have answers to, and you have to come back in the next forum to answer that question.
No. We made a note of it. Yeah. And that should come up in matters arising.
For example,
yeah,
assets review or something like that. That's still a longer term response. Yeah.
But we have mentioned asset review 2 or 3 times tonight in various guises on that one. But you're absolutely right, sir. That's noted. Okay. We need to do it.
Thank you.
Thanks. Councillor Mohammed Akram.
As my colleague councillor, we ward walk last time. We raised this issue that I think is very good project. I think very very building. I think very useful in the local resident. I think the hall is very nice. As we see the last time, the offices and the hall they can hire, and the short function can do it there. I think the next area forum we get a better solution, and then to open this, the pressure code and the use for the resident, Thank you. If any comments, please. If you.
I'm taking 2 more. I'll just take George first, if I may, because he's been waving at me for hours.
Going back to the parking for the football, Ragwinder will probably confirm this. Down Keynes Lane and your road, there's a guy got 6 cars parked there permanently by the KLM area. They just don't move. I know I go there every day with my dog to walk in the bio, and these cars just sit there, a Jaguar, a Honda, and they just don't move. And they could be used for people to park to go to the football. I'm not snitching on people or whatever, but it just seems I've got to park a bit iffy just to walk my dog, whereas these cars just, the tyres go down, sit there. He's just using it as a car park.
You can't legislate for people's individual standards and how they see themselves as part of the community, George, unfortunately. We've had a similar situation down in Lower Feltham, but more complicated, that we're getting a move on. But if he's legitimately got those cars and he's paid his tax, what do you do? It's difficult, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a weird thing. 2 of them have got, I think he's collected them for the number plates, because they are like 555 at the end and a girl's name, and the other ones, I think he's just keeping them for the number plates. So that's my opinion. Have a look, Ray.
I'm going to stick to my line bike. Right, we've got one, the gentleman.
Oh, sorry, it's nice to be referred to as a gentleman. Yeah, it's basically my next door neighbour's question as well, but am I right, there's only 1 action per ward on that list? So, there's, on that list, on the display, there's only 1 action per ward?
That's because we were only showing 1 tonight as an example per ward. But there's going to be a rolling programme of issues. There'll be several issues per ward as we move along. Some will join the list, some will come off the list as it's dealt with. But the idea tonight, so that it wasn't too complicated, was to give you an example of one from each ward.
Oh, okay, yep. But will Emily go back and look at previous minutes and where the action's unresolved, add it to that list?
Yeah, she'll go back with me and one or two other people. Emily, answer that question.
Mike, so the idea that we're floating, again, we're trialling this, it's different to Isleworth, is that we meet 2 weeks after the forum, discuss what came up at open forum, discuss conversations now and say, right, okay, what are the actions for this? What's this? And we'll decide where it goes. And because it's been highlighted today, I think, do you think it's fair enough to make a note that we'll look back through the minutes and just double check?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Certainly.
Happy with that, guys? Great. There we go.
Again, this is all part of the theme tonight. It's getting closer to residents, bringing everything closer to where we are, where people are, and let's get these issues sorted. Okay. I see Ragwinder Sidhu has his hand up.
Thank you, Chair. George, I know where you're talking about, and those cars are regularly, we check the number plates. If they're mostly always taxed, and if there is any not taxed, we do report them. Yeah, we do. If it is taxed, we can't do anything.
Right, I'm going to take one more question. Oh, Councillor Hina Mir was waving at me. Sorry, can I let Hina ask the question?
Yeah. Okay, I just would like to add on. Today I've seen lots of cars clamped near Bedfont Close and around that area. So, yeah, so the cars which are not taxed, they have been clamped. The clamping is ongoing in that area, yeah.
The clampers are out, folks. Yeah. Miss Lloyd, the final word this evening.
I'd like to ask, you know, all these fibre optic cabinets that are around the borough, and they become obsolete, and then they update it and put them bigger and wider across pavements and everything. I would like to know why the other cabinets haven't been removed, because they get vandalised, and that causes another problem.
You're talking about fibre optic boxes?
Yeah, the cabinets.
Cabinets, junction boxes.
Yes.
Yeah, some of them are Sky, some of them are BT, some of them are other satellite firms. There's one on Westmacott, which we've been trying to deal with on and off for about 3 years. Yes, ward councillors should, it's not a council thing, but we do respond to it. Members see it, their residents tell them, and we get our actual traffic team to go over and look at it and then get in touch with the people.
Who gives them permission to plonk them anywhere they want to? And another church in Bedfont, right, they've got them outside the gates, so we can't get a coffin in and out, and nobody's going to get married there.
Well, I think there may be a planning issue there where they're actually sited, but so we do have...
Have a say in anything.
Well, we certainly do if they're in a situation like they are in Westmacott. I've had 3 teams out there in the last 18 months, and I'm not quite sure it's resolved even yet. But it's a very good point, Miss Lloyd, and it's noted, and that's one we'll take back as well. Thank you so much for that. So I don't believe there are any more comments or questions. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you've enjoyed it tonight. This is an attempt to bring things closer to you, you coming closer to us. In fact, we could all sit together next time, couldn't we? Have a cup of George. Emily's got her hand up. She wished to say something.
You've probably heard enough of me, but I've got one more. This is for the councillors. Friendly reminder, if you haven't got your neighbourhood grant in yet, please, community, this is for you as well. The councillors have £1,000 your neighbourhood grant. Speak to your ward councillors. If they haven't already got theirs in, let's have a conversation. Let's get it going, because they're waiting for your bids. Done. Thank you.
Councillor Mohammed Akram.
I had just little announcement because the Baber Bridge, they do to start work end of this year. End of this year, on December, November, December. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for staying to the end. I hope you found it worthwhile. I hope you found it engaging. Look over there. Look over there. Look.
Feedback forms.
Feedback forms. Please say how wonderful it was and how much
Good,
better
bad, or
it's
ugly.
getting.
Let us know.
And keep
Thank
coming.
you.
So, from us to you, from you to us, it's good night from him, and it's good night from me. Thank you.